I would say from the fact that we are treated as the business delayers, right? I mean, how many times have you been asking, can I close the contract a little sooner? Why are you taking so much time? Like, seriously, like, how long does your negotiation have to go? Why does it have to go for 2 months? Why can't it be done over a call? So that's something which happens a lot. And here I am representing a legal tech company. I am a lawyer by profession, and you must be thinking why we are taking you through a tech platform today all of a sudden. And I'll tell you there are two reasons. One, I want to give a little bit of an introduction about me here, and I'll say that how I came across LexTalk World and how we went from there, right? So one day when LexTalk World approached me, they basically said that, I think like they approached each one of you basically for the aspect of how we contributed as lawyers to the particular digital transformation or a future of the, legal sector in India, right? Now, as far as that is considered, I think legal and technology today are becoming intermingled with each other. And I think most of us will agree, I think all of us over here, how many of us actually deal with tech contracts, I think, as a part of our profession? Just another quiz, random quiz. I think that's like quite a lot. So technology has played like a pivotal role, is basically the legal profession altogether. Now, when LexTalk World approached me, the entire aspect was that I was supposed to be awarded, that is happening tomorrow. But I thought, this is a good time to talk to the fellow legal professionals about how technology can transform the legal sphere and how it did it, at least for me as a company. I here stand as a representative of Signedesk and talking about how Signedesk has been instrumental in doing a lot of things for the legal teams of in-house counsel, like legal teams of, companies as such. Now, before going on, I'll just tell you a little bit about what is the problems which are faced by legal team. Can I move to the next slide? Do I have that? I don't think I find the clicker here. Okay, it's here. Okay, so one of the basic problems which companies face, and I take here the case study of a software company. Why? Because I am from a software company, right? And also I took the case study of a software company for two reasons. One, software companies are pretty much vendors of a lot of bigger companies, right? And there are contractual negotiations which go on with various companies from time to time here, and which happens with primarily people who are the other companies who are much, much more streamlined in their processes. People who are, again, as a startup, I can tell you this, like people with much more experience than me. Again, I'm probably 10 years into the profession, and I end up negotiating contracts with mostly people who are 25, 30 years into the profession, and it is not easy. To close a contract in that particular sphere does not come very easily. So that's the reason where this particular platform really helps in streamlining the entire contractual processes, right? Now, what does Signedesk do to solve the problem? What Signedesk actually does is provide a platform whereby all legal contracts can be handled digitally by you. On a normal basis, I think I'll ask Payal this question, if it's okay, Payal. How many contracts do you deal with probably on a monthly basis with your vendors? If you may have a number. Per month? See, so that's the number of contracts which Payal has. Can someone give Payal a mic? I'm going to have a conversation with her. Payal, are you okay with that? I'm just trying to make sure that I don't go on a monologue here. So I thought like probably a dialogue will help both us, for me and you, to understand what I'm trying to imply here.
Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah, Payal. So the 40 to 50 contracts which happen, where do they currently lie? Like, where are they stored under your, like I said, does it lie with the marketing department if it is a marketing contract, or everything falls under your control?
So how it happens in large organizations usually is that there is a contract management system.
Correct.
And all the contracts are stored along with the primary data of the contracts is made in terms of alerts which go to the business as well as to the legal team. So that is how the company and the group is managing the contracts.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Payal. So that basically is, I think Payal summarized what I'm here to talk about. Thank you, Payal. So that's what I'm here to talk about. So management of these contracts, which typically lie in various repositories. So I think I can talk about my company. I have, we were a 7-people organization. Today we are a 210 people organization. The biggest problem I faced was half the contract requests came to me over phone. So the sales teams would pick up the call and say, hey, can you please draft this contract within the next 20 minutes? I want this particular contract on my table. And there was a time where we were 2 people in the legal team handling requests which came from around 50 people in the sales team. And we were going, it was bizarre because we did not know how to handle that. And there we decided, and considering everything which was going around, we decided to create a product which caters to this basic problem of conversation between the legal and the business teams, the two stalwart opposing factors in particular company. How do you solve the problem? What is the problem of the business team? The business team wants business. The legal team wants to make sure the compliances are in place. Business team wants fast and efficient way of contract management. They want to say that, okay, I give you 20 minutes, and then you have to give me this contract at the earliest. And what does the legal team say? That's not going to happen. There is a party at the other side which is much more, much more effective than I am. And how am I supposed to close this in 20 minutes? So that's the reason we decided that let's pick up a platform which probably helps with the AI and AI machinery, which we are talking about here, that is artificial intelligence, to make sure that all of this happens a little bit more peacefully. Okay, this does not work. Okay, so what is basically the pain points and what are we planning to get addressed here, right? I think I'll just request the member of the audience to take patience with me for 2 minutes. I know most of us are hungry, but the room is getting a little louder than expected. So if you could just give me 2 minutes, I think for the next 10, 15 minutes, if you give me attention, and I promise it'll end very, very soon. So what are the pain points we are talking about here? One, email-based document collection, right? So as of today, basically when you are drafting a contract as a legal team person in an in-house contract, most of the information, I'm not talking about basically Payal's company here, which basically I think already has a contract management solution, but most of the information does come around in emails, right? There is no proper way to document the request which comes from different owners. Now that can be your HR partner, it can be your business partners, it can be your sales engine. There is no place where the document comes properly. What happens in the bargain? The documentation loss or the loss of important information which needs to flow from the sales team to the company, the team which is drafting the agreement for you. I'll tell you one thing which very interestingly happened with me personally was we ended up getting one set of commercials from our sales team. Now, I think this was, I think, the beginning of when I joined the company. We ended up drafting a 35-page agreement to basically make sure everything is taken care of. So we took care of those commercials into consideration and drafted a company. 2 years down the line, when there was some dispute which happened during payment, we took out the contract and the sales team came back and said, this is the commercials which we never agreed upon. Who gave you these set of commercials? So the commercials itself, which came to us at that point of time, was wrong. It was actually one of those cases where key pointers was missed out. There was one particular service which we were providing was not even covered in the commercial. Now, there was this miscommunication between the sales and legal team, which could have been saved in case of there was a platform which could take care of that. So that is one thing which was there, which was basically a problem area which we wanted to rectify. No centralized templates. Now, to be able to boast about the company a little bit more, we have worked with major sector clients like ICICI, we have major banking sector clients, we have major, I shouldn't be taking names here, but we have major banking sector clients, we have major FMCG companies on board with us. I think in basic spaces such as even Fortune 500 companies who are onboarded with us. And one thing which we boast about is our template management system, whereby there are contracts which, again, like for a sales, for a legal team, you don't have to sit and draft a contract again and again. The same set of 10 parameters should not be used to, draft a contract. Your time can actually be better used if you could take the help of a centralized system where you can manage all your templates, which are your general regular templates. Now, since we are from the legal sector, so me being from the legal team also, I have also a product consultant for them. So considering the fact that that is one thing which we took into consideration was, where does your contract can be stored in a central place where it's easier for passing on these contracts to the next set of people who come to the organization. Today, what happens is a lot of information which happens, I'm not talking about big tech, big companies here who have systems in place, but somebody like an SME does lose out a lot of contractual information when you don't have one particular place where you can find the industry knowledge, basically your company's specific knowledge, which can be lost. So that delays the drafting, makes the exercise get repeated, right? System defined approvals. This is very interesting. So obviously, there are various stakeholders in every contracting process. People who are here know that, from a company's perspective, it's not only legal team, but it goes to your CFO for approvals for certain aspects. There are C-suite executives who are involved in a lot of key decisions of the contracts, right? Now, what is the visibility they have towards your contract? Now, today, you may say that most of our contracts get done electronically, right? A lot of us say that, okay, our major contracts, nobody does paper-based contracts here anymore, right? There is no paper-based contract, but everybody uses MS Word. I'm sure half of us are comfortable with Microsoft Word to make the contracts. Now, where does Microsoft Word stores the contracts? It's on your particular system. How do you share it with your C-suite executives for particular approvals? You will send them an email now, or you will go back to them personally and ask, are you comfortable with this particular clause? Do you think this particular clause requires an approval? So they may come back and say that, I approve this clause or I do not approve this clause. So where do you track that to make sure that all of this comes into a central system? So that is where this particular software, or that is CLM or contract lifecycle management, which I'm talking about, helps. Next is with respect to signatures. So we are, again, if I'm sounding like a sales pitch, I really apologize. But we are, again, a document workflow solution company. So we deal with electronic signatures. We deal with digital stamping solutions. If at all you all are aware about the fact about India as a country, for people who are globally crowded here, India as a country requires a document, stamp duty to be paid on a document before it is executed electronically. So the stamp duty is required to be paid. And we majorly used to be in that particular space where we used to help the companies get their documents stamped, that is digitally stamped, and then move on to signature per se. But then when we started interacting with all of these, like I said, I named a list of barrage of companies we work with, we realized that it doesn't end at signatures. What happens after signatures? Where does it go lie, the contract? In most of the cases, the contract goes and lies in the repository of your company, whoever is basically taking our services. But is there a place to manage the contract centrally? Are they able to derive key analytic features from the contracts? That does not happen today in a lot of cases. You are not able to delve out of key analytics out of the contracts, including the fact that when does the contract, what are the risk factors which come from the contract? What is the limitation of liability you have agreed upon in the contract? And what if you do not honor the limitation of liability? What is the risk which is associated? All of these features are not getting tracked in one particular place, and that is leading to a big trouble scenario. Then like I said, the agreements, lack of visibility and risk to the C-suite executives. That, I think, is a huge problem area as such. How many C-suite executives today know what is happening on a daily basis? Is there a particular dashboard where they can log in and see that, okay, these are the number of contracts executed, these are the number of contracts, and this is the risk which I have taken by accepting or giving waiver clauses? How many of us get requests for waiver clauses on a daily basis? I'm sure most of us do, right? They are saying, okay, you know what, this client looks like a big client, let go of this client, let go of the clause. Or they will say that, okay, let's give this vendor an exception because this vendor may get things closed sooner. So in the interest of time, we do take a lot of waivers. There is a lot of risks which the company take. But what is the kind of risk from a contract? What is the kind of risk by letting go of a few important clauses in the contract? That is something which is very important, and that is a key metric, which we call it in the technology terms, which is basically handled by the contract lifecycle management as a software. Missed renewal and expiry dates. I think we may I think a lot of you have the faces that does that really happen, but I am a living example here of saying that yes, it does happen. Because if you are not able to see the contractual dashboard, I think it becomes very difficult for you to know when the contract is about to expire. So the notifications getting missed out of that, for example, if you have an increment clause in your contract which says that it has a 9% increment to the client which requires to be charged, and if it is not getting charged, or there is a document which is up for renewal, because I'm not sure about other countries, but in India, a lot of things happen on trust, right? A lot of discussions happen. It's okay, not this. It's okay, right? There is one contract which is pending with you. It's fine if it is. It'll take time to get renewed. It's fine. But that's not how it works, especially for us legal people. We are very careful about the fact that the renewals should be in place. So any missed renewal notification is again a big problem, which is handled as a part of contract lifecycle management. Am I over my time? Yeah, sure. So what is the kind of platform which I'm talking about? Is a platform which helps the clients negotiate the contracts better, draft the contracts better. So if this is the life cycle of the journey, what all does a CLM product do? Onboarding documentation. Now, whenever you onboard a vendor or vendor management profile for people in in-house legal counsels here. So vendor management is one of the important aspects which is done by, I think, procurement teams, to be very honest, and the legal team. What do you do? In that particular space, you have documents which are shared internally. Now, in a bigger company, that may not be a problem because of the procurement systems. But when it comes to an SME or somebody smaller, having all the contracts pertaining or all the details, including the PAN number of the particular company or the onboarding details of that particular company in one place becomes very important. And that's where the part of onboarding comes in. Second is drafting the agreement. Like I said, over and over again, there are templates-based drafting becomes very easier when you have a maintained clause library. Now, what do I mean by clause library is the fact that one place where the centralized information of everything which you do in the company, basically, if it says that, okay, I am, as a company, agree to 10%, limitation of liability, or say 20,000, I think 20,000 is a very small number, which I put there, but anything, if I say 20 lakhs is my limit of liability, which I am willing to accept, all of them, if they are stored in a central repository as to I think many of us are aware about contract playbooks. So which say that, okay, this is the company's standard clauses. This level of deviation is accepted. Now, if the contract's playbook can actually be put into a digital format, that exactly is what the CLM software does. So basically, your legal intelligence in the company, which is built with around 5 to 6 legal people in the company, is gone down and actually gets the C-suite executives also that level of information which can be given. So I think that makes a job of a lot of people easier. Analytics is something which is a key, key portion of this particular contract lifecycle management I'm talking about. What do you mean by analytics is that where if you have certain, like I said, your risk, what is the risk which you accepted by signing a particular contract? What are the kind of, alternatives you could have gone for? In 2 years down the line, because of a failed force majeure clause, or force majeure clause not being there in the agreement, which if that force majeure clause is not there in the agreement, what happened because of that? Because you missed that force majeure clause in the agreement. All of this is taken care by this contract lifecycle management as a product. Can I move on to the next slide? Thank you. I think we spoke about it. So legacy contracts, I think a lot of us have contracts all over the place, right? Like in the sense that the contracts, what happens to those contracts, if you ask me, which are already not executed through the lifecycle management as a software? So these contracts lie specifically in different places, including email folders, your typical data folders of the company. Like, for example, we as a company used to use G Suite for storing these contracts. What do you do with these particular contracts? So those also get technically entirely completely transformed into the legal process. That's a cloud-based software which we are talking about here. It can be cloud-based. It's a customized software. Therefore, considering your company's requirement, it takes care of a lot of things, including creating a single source of truth where you get all the information regarding all the kind of contracts which happen into the organization. So one which it does is your TAT reduction, since I said that there is negotiation tool which is inbuilt into the software where you don't have to send the contract over and over again to the next particular team. So TAT reduction is primarily a very big advantage of having a contract lifecycle management as a product. Streamlined communication, like I said, intelligent approval matrix is very required. Intelligent approval, by intelligent approval, I mean the contract itself will suggest, stating that this is your key matrix which the company has agreed upon. Do you want to make it a part of the contract? It can say yes or a no. So it makes the life of your, in fact, the legal team's a lot more easier, considering the fact that most of these things are day-to-day activities which you and I don't want to get involved in. You can keep your interaction about something as intelligent as privacy protection, which I don't think we get time to discuss as a legal professional, because we get involved in a lot of daily functions as a contractual person. Like I said, C-suite executives are the actual beneficiaries of this particular process, considering that the kind of matrix which you get or derive out of this CLM is really beneficial for them. I think I tried to wind up within the time which I was given. So that's the reason I was really, really fast in going through what I wanted to go through. But I would really love to have a conversation with anyone who wants to have a conversation offline. And I'm not taking any questions up right now. But I'll definitely have a discussion over there, right there. We also have a stall there. I'm sorry, I actually do not want to sound like a sales pitch, and I think I'm eventually sounding like that. But we do have a stall there. Please come over and we can have a conversation. Thank you so much. Thanks.